where the breaches are happening, both at the law firm and the corporate level, what are some strategies you advise law firms to take when dealing with client data? Is it better to keep it behind the corporate firewall? Is it better to find a location outside of the firewall of the law firm, but maybe a dedicated, secure environment? Or is it, I see a lot of law firms bring it in-house. What would your advice be to the law firms on dealing with their client and their corporate data?
Get it out of your hands, encrypt if it's a physical drive that has data on it, encrypt it.
For sure.
Like a lot of this stuff is free. Right. It's no longer are we in the days where you have to pay for different types of software that does do different levels of encryption, and then you if you don't pay for that license, then you're jammed. Right? BitLocker is free. Right. File Vault in the Mac is free. Encrypt your drives, encrypt your systems, and then if it's in the cloud, use two-factor authentication.
Right.
Use every measure that is available to you for free, and then throw some more on top of that. Just make sure that if something happens, you're covered. That it's really hard. What I find is clients make it sometimes a little too easy because they want things easy. They're used to their iPhone. They're used to their Blackberries or whatever. Just being able to take it out of the box, turn it on, and that's all the effort they want to put into it.
Right.
And when you have to think about things like a long password, a 16-character password using multiple characters, it's like I don't want to have to put that much thought into it. Okay, well if you don't now, you'll be paying us later to go figure out why you got jammed.
Yeah. So most companies aren't in the business, IT law firms specifically. I'm not in that business. So in most cases, it makes a lot of sense to try and push those mission critical services outside your organization, your email, your file storage, things like that, where you can have backup protection from ransomware. You can apply a lot of security controls to it that are built into these platforms or can be added onto these platforms. It's because most people aren't really very good at controlling their files, right? There's more data in their email than they ever thought there was. There's more client data running around and being sent back and forth in their email than they ever thought there was. And my experience over in the last 25 years is folks have very little actual control over files within their file stores, whatever that might be. They really don't have a great ability to say who touched what file, when, where it got to, who made copies of it, things like that. And it's sometimes harder to do in older on-prem platforms where a lot of the cloud platforms, you can turn up that level of logging and control on those systems, apply DLP solutions and things like that, that maybe you wouldn't have thought of doing on-premise because it's kind of expensive and you got to keep adding on and adding on. Cloud makes it a little bit easier to add those services. Still maybe not cheap,
sure,
but at least more readily available and applicable to it.
Yeah, and to your point, the law firms are not IT, by nature. That's not their business, and so if you target and work with a company,
right, and they're law firms are out there competing with everybody else for good IT people, right? So they're always running a skeleton crew of IT folks too. So this cloud offerings can help make a difference.
Interesting.